One thing that you guys should probably know about me is that I'm an unapologetic people pleaser. So when you guys asked me to wage in on one of the biggest rivalries ever, I just had to oblige. Yes, it is true, I've heard your calls, and today I'm giving the people what they want. I'm making the comparison video between Sweden and Denmark. And before we dig too deep into this one, you guys, I just want us all to notice that I have worn the absolute most neutral colours I could find in my wardrobe today. I'm really trying to create my own flag right here because I am not taking a position on this. I am not trying to say just because I live in Sweden that it's better than Denmark or vice versa. So if you're looking for content that knocks the Danes, you probably need to go and check out another channel. So let's dig into some of my first impressions on the differences between Denmark and Sweden. Number one, despite what you've heard, Sweden is way cheaper. Yes, there's definitely a common misconception out there that the entirety of Scandinavia is hella expensive, but I'm here today to tell you that Sweden is the exception. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here today to tell you that on the Malmö side of the bridge they're literally giving out cash like it's going out of fashion, but what I am here to say is that in Denmark I was really surprised just how expensive everything was. And we're not just talking about accommodation and cost of living. I remember going to buy a coffee in Denmark and I nearly spent my entire wage for the month. Okay, maybe that was a bit of an exaggeration, but I don't need to tell you that it's no surprise that the Danes cross over into Germany or Sweden to get their booze and other supplies because they can't afford it in their own country. So if you're planning to pop across to Copenhagen for the weekend, maybe book in advance because you might save yourself a small fortune. And while you're over there, the first thing you're going to notice is how different the languages are. Yes, it wouldn't be surprising to assume that because Sweden and Denmark are so closely related to each other that the languages would be related too. I mean, they're part of the same language tree, right? Not that you can really notice that in real life. For those of us that are learning Swedish, we complain bitterly about how hard it is to understand skånska, but that's nothing in comparison to Danish. So hop across the bridge if you don't believe me, and then come back to me. And I've heard that Danish is a really difficult language to learn, and not that I've ever tried myself, but I have it on good authority that it's difficult to make your mouth make the sounds that you're supposed to. And there's some of us learning Swedish that think that we've got it hard. Let me tell you what, we don't know nothing. I'm convinced it would do the country a favour if the Danish government invested in live subtitles so that we could read what was going along and follow the conversations better. And it's not just the language that is so different. Look at the nature and the landscape. Yes, Sweden is much bigger than Denmark. Not only is it geographically 10 times bigger, but the population is double the size. And it shows because when you first set foot in Copenhagen, it feels like the Danes live a lot closer together, but the reality is they just have a lot less space. And the country is also a lot flatter than Sweden is. In Sweden, we've got mountains. In Denmark, if you want to go skiing, you've got to hop across the border or go down to Germany. And if you went on a road trip from the south to the north of Sweden across one summer, I'm pretty sure you'd see about 16 different climate zones, whereas in Denmark, you'd be lucky if you saw one. Having said that, that makes Denmark a much better choice for a quick weekend away because you can explore so much more of the country in just a couple of days, whereas in Sweden, you wouldn't get very far. You could spend the whole weekend driving and you probably still wouldn't reach the top of the country. And while you're in Denmark, you might notice that it's happier than Sweden, or that's how the rumour goes at least. Time and time again, the results show that Denmark is probably the second, if not the top most happy country in the world. And if I was to put my money on why that might be, I'd probably hazard a guess that one of the biggest factors has got to be that the working week is shorter. Even between Sweden and Denmark, you really notice the difference because in Denmark, the average working week is about 37 hours. In Sweden, you're looking at least 40, possibly 42 or more, and there's no paid lunch break. So if, like me, you think that here in Sweden there's a big focus on home life, hop across to Denmark and then you'll really understand what it's like. Another reason for why Denmark might consistently be one of the happiest countries in the world brings me on to my final comparison point for today. Did you know that in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, there is an area of the city that is boxed off as its own autonomous area? Christiania, as it's called in English, is an area that is completely left on its own. They can do what they like, it's left to its own devices, and it's not subject to the same rules and regulations as the rest of Denmark. And don't quote me on this one, but the history says that this dates back to the 1970s when a group of hippies came into the area and took it over. And since they arrived, they've kind of been left to their own devices. And what I mean by that is that there's lots of things that are allowed to happen there that can't happen elsewhere in the country. And as a result, if you're visiting Copenhagen and you decide to go down to Christiania, make sure that you don't get your camera out in the wrong places because people will not be impressed. And I've also been told that some travel agencies will advise you not to run if you're going to enter that area of the city. And the reason for that is because lots of the things that are going on there, as I've said, are probably quite illegal. So if you run, it creates this kind of panic and they think they're being raided. Having said that though, when I was there myself, I did not get the feeling that anyone was urgent to do anything. They felt very relaxed and very chilled out, and I will leave you to guess for yourself why that might be. So there you have it, guys. Those are some of the comparisons that I noticed when I first visited Denmark after having lived in Sweden. But I'm very aware that lots of you guys watching will probably have been to Denmark a lot more than me. Perhaps you even live there or you're from there. So you've got to let me know down in the comments section below, have I hit the nail on the head or am I missing something? I really want to hear from you guys. And then once you're done with that, if you haven't subscribed yet, it would be so awesome if you could turn on that notification bell so you'll be the first one to know as soon as I put out a new video, and then drop me a like so I know you like this kind of stuff, and maybe I'll do more country comparisons again in the future. But for now, all I want to say is thanks for watching another video, and I will see you guys all again very soon. Bye guys.